welcome to the broadcast. My name is Stanley Nyaringita with the latest news developments just for you. The Kenya Revenue Authority has unveiled a new WhatsApp-based tax filing solution aimed at simplifying compliance for individuals and businesses. The platform, launched by Commissioner General Humphrey Watanga, allows taxpayers to file returns in just 3 steps, down from 8. It features real-time assistance, pre-filed returns using employer data, and enhanced dashboards for tracking transactions. The initiative seeks to improve efficiency, reduce congestion during peak periods, and boost voluntary compliance. Taxpayers are urged to file and clear any outstanding obligations for the 2025 financial year before the 30th of April deadline.
As KRA celebrates 30 years of service, we are making filing seamless and easy using technology. You can file your tax returns directly on WhatsApp, as has been demonstrated here. The process is simple, the process is fast, and the process is convenient. Taxpayers should take advantage of this innovation and file early this financial year. This new platform represents the standard of tax compliance at KRA. By using WhatsApp to file, the tax processes become smoother, faster, and more accessible to everyone. Filing early not only demonstrates compliance, but also encourages others to adopt simple and efficient ways of meeting their obligations.
Yes, I know what you're thinking, finally. Meanwhile, matters politics, coalition politics took center stage during the commissioning of Owino Uhuru Road in Jomvu, Mombasa, where Governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nassir, alongside county leaders, defended ODM's partnership with President William Ruto and UDA as a move to advance as Kenyan interests. He dismissed opposition criticism as lacking a clear agenda. Speaking as ODM deputy party leader, Nassir said formal coalition talks will begin soon, adding that the party is negotiating from a position of strength. He urged residents to register as voters and join ODM, citing its national presence and commitment to social justice, equity, and economic transformation. He added that any deal will prioritize tangible benefits for Kenyans.
Aanze mazungumzo rasmi na chama cha UDA. Ikifika mwaka 2027, wanajomvu nawaambia tena, hatutaki nyenyenye. Mambo ni mawili. Aidha tuko ndani ya serikali ama tunaunda serikali. Baba alituacha katika broad based. Tutakaa chini na UDA. Na sisi tunasema ile ambayo kwamba tumepatia mawaziri haitoshi. Tunataka deputy president wa Kenya awe ni mwana ODM.
Still in matters politics, former President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Deputy President, now DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, have met publicly for the first time since Gachagua split with President William Ruto. The two met at the burial of former Kirinyaga Senator Daniel Karaba at Njenga's Primary School in Kirinyaga Central. Uhuru was received by PLP leader Martha Karua, Jubilee Deputy Party leader Fred Matiang'i, and Gachagua, in a ceremony expected to feature political undertones. Popularly known as Mwalimu Karaba, the late senator had a distinguished career as a teacher, principal, and educationist before serving as a 2-term member of parliament for Kirinyaga Central and later on as a senator. Uhuru's warm interaction with opposition leaders is seen as a signal of possible political realignments ahead of 2027. His appearance also follows recent social media speculation about his health.
The enemies of God on the table are very simple too.
And Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti says Movata Designs, not comedian Sami Kioko, supplied inspectorate uniforms. While Kioko claims ownership, the county recognizes only the registered entity and requires formal authorization for representatives. The county says partial delivery was made in the 2023-2024 financial year, preventing inspection and acceptance. Payment was therefore listed as a pending bill in line with public finance rules. Meanwhile, Kioko is receiving treatment at Nairobi West Hospital after an alleged assault outside county offices on Tuesday.
Baadaye tumeanza kuona msukosuko. Umeanza ulipi, mtu anafanya kazi au hujalipa. Ni nini hii kimesababisha usilipe Kioko? Hiyo ndeni na unakusanya over 100 millions a day.
Kioko ingekuwa ni mtoto wa kiongozi, angepigwa akidai pesa yake. Kioko alipigwa sababu ni mtoto wa maskini, maskini mwenye upiga kura, maskini mwenye ulipa ushuru, na viongozi wetu wa Ukambani mmenyamaza.
Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, wewe ndo kingpin ya Wakamba. We want you to roar like a lion. Na majenzi wameamka. If you cannot roar like a lion, usaidie Sami Kioko. Utuambie, sisi majenzi tutajimobilize na tuchague kingpin mwingine.
Viongozi wale wetu tunakwanga tunaitegemea tunaelekea wapi? Kalonzo 2027 is coming. We are here, tunakuongoja na uongei. Unataka tukufanyie nini baba? Tunakupenda kama mtu wetu.
Sami Kioko is not a director, is not an associate, is not a relative of the company. But then he has been at the forefront campaigning for the payment of this money. So as a county government, you can only engage with a legal entity.
We'll be giving more details on that later. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says it will not be restricted from sharing platforms with politicians as it seeks to reach more Kenyans and encourage voter participation. Speaking in Mombasa during a civic awareness exercise held with local political leaders, IBC Chairperson Erastus Ethekon said the Commission will not isolate itself but will work with leaders in public spaces to boost electoral participation. Vice Chairperson Fahima Arafat echoed his remarks, citing progress in the first 2 days of the enhanced voter registration drive and urging the public to take part in this particular drive.
Kubadilisha mahali kwa kupiga kura na pia kama
kwa kauli moja kwamba sisi tutaenda mahali pahali wananchi wako, kwa sababu katiba inaturuhusu, katiba inatupa mamlaka kufanyia wananchi kazi. Kwa hivyo sisi hatutaogopa mtu yoyote, hatutakuwa na shaka lolote kuja mahali wananchi wako ili tuwahudumie.
Na sisi kama IBC tuna uhuru wa kufanya kazi na viongozi wa wananchi, magavana, wabunge, women reps na mtu yoyote. Kwa hivyo zile mambo ambazo tunaona kwa social media tafadhali yaishi. Siku kama hii ya leo tusingepata fursa kuona umati huu wa watu na tuambie yale yetu ambayo tunafanya kama tume.
The National Police Service has dismissed reports claiming the tenure of DCI Director Mohamed Amin ends on Wednesday, today, terming them inaccurate, premature and misleading. Speaking at the National Criminal Investigation Academy, Inspector General Douglas Kanja said Amin remains in office lawfully and continues to execute his duties. Kanja added that appointment and tenure of senior security officials are guided by law and due process, not media reports. He also dismissed claims linking the DCI to abductions as erroneous, reckless and unsubstantiated.
The issue of the contract of the DCI, I think this is something that we should not even be discussing, because there is nothing of that nature. The DCI is just discharging his duty. He is here. His contract is not yet over. It is still there and it is running. So the officers of the National Police Service, especially the officers from the DCI, you need not to worry about the DCI. The DCI is in his office and is carrying out his mandate as required by the law. Yeah. We are not abductors. We are a legal entity created by this constitution, and we have got our mandates as clearly spelled out by the constitution, and that is for what we follow. And that is why I advocate for serious training of our officers.
The Linda Mwananchi faction is planning to file a fresh court case against National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula following the suspension of Kitutu South Member of Parliament Anthony Kibagendi from Parliament. Led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, the group accused the Speaker of violating Constitution by ignoring a court order that reinstated Kibagendi to resume House sittings. The leaders spoke at Parliament buildings earlier today.
The Powers and Privileges Act does not extend outside the precincts of Parliament. It is not possible for a speaker to police utterances of members of the National Assembly or even the Senate at media houses, at funerals, at baby showers. It is preposterous for anybody to imagine that what I say in my bedroom is also subject to the Powers and Privileges Act.
Cannot be the one presiding over a House of Parliament when he's a leader of a political party. He will be biased. So clearly, this decision is political because the party that the Speaker leads is a constituent member of Kenya Kwanza.
We shall seek for an order of mandamus to compel the Speaker to obey court orders. And we shall also seek for an order of certiorari to quash or annul the decision to suspend or further suspend Honorable Kibagendi for 14 days. And we want the court to assert its authority and dignity.
Meanwhile, SACCO regulators are tightening oversight to improve accountability and safeguard members' savings amid growing concerns over governance and financial mismanagement. Authorities are saying that the new measures will enhance transparency, strengthen internal controls, and ensure strict compliance with regulatory frameworks. The SACCO leaders have been urged to adopt prudent financial practices and prioritize member interests to restore public confidence in the sector.
We have, in the new law, we are proposing to have, we define which cooperative and how to be operating. For example, when you go to Nairobi, you see many matatus called SACCOs. Are they operating under the SACCOs law? The new law is proposing a transport cooperatives. We also proposing, if you look at our housing, and more so, if you look at even Costco has its own housing agency. And you know the housing space has changed. The affordable housing, which the president is leading, has changed the scope of housing. The question is, which space, how will cooperatives play in the housing space? And more importantly, how do we hold them accountable?
Very small, very little uptake in terms of mortgage. But it was an internal capacity that we are building because we want to be sure of any loan that we give that the ability to pay is there, but we are there. We are one of the people, one of the shareholders of KMRC from the start.
To matters education, the Africa University Summit 2026 has concluded in Nairobi, bringing together educators, policymakers and innovators to discuss the role of universities in driving skills, innovation and inclusive growth. And with Africa's youth population above 400 million, the summit highlighted the need for relevant skills and entrepreneurship. Dr. Beatrice Muganda urged African institutions to develop global solutions rooted in local realities. Discussions focused on collaboration, innovation, employability, and gender equity. The summit also reaffirmed Kenya's position as a growing, innovative and innovation hub.
Graduates who are not only qualified but capable, adaptable, and future ready. And the third is gender equality. We cannot speak of Africa's future without addressing inclusion. And at the heart of inclusion is gender equality. Too many women and girls still face barriers to accessing and completing higher education, particularly in STEM fields. This is not only unjust, it is a profound loss of talent. For the decisions you make today will shape millions of lives. They will determine whether Africa's young people are equipped to thrive, to innovate, and to lead or not.
That is important for our continent because our argument should not be that women are now doing fine and men are in crisis. The argument should be that the education system sits inside a wider social order, and that order still channels opportunities unevenly. It pushes girls and women into some pathways, boys and men into others, and many young people out altogether.
And speaking of young people, a section of youth aligned to President William Ruto and UDA have announced a peaceful march set for Thursday in Nairobi. The procession will start at City Hallway to Harambee House to deliver a message of appreciation. Organizers say the march celebrates progress in youth empowerment, jobs and inclusion. They called for peaceful participation, urged voter registration and criticized opposition politics as divisive while advocating unity.
We are not doing a demonstration against no one. We just want to come out and show Kenyans what the president has done this far. That is our idea. We don't intend to meet the president for this. This is purely organic, and for young people who truly, even from the grassroots, see the kind of work that the president is doing. So he's not even aware.
We are going to say that we are politically conscious people who are aware what the president has done. We are going to demystify lies and deceivers, which has been done by people who do not have goodwill.
And to sports news, Eastern Region beat Prisons headquarters 7-6 on penalties after a 0-0 draw to win the Commissioner General's Cup at Ulinzi Stadium. The two-day tournament featured 10 regions competing in football, netball and volleyball. Nairobi women scored and won the football title 4-0 against Central Region, with Christabel Msalagani scoring a hat-trick. Kenya Prisons now plans a return to national leagues and expand sports participation among officers.
Asante sana mtangazaji mwenzangu Babu kwa kuweza kupeperusha matangazo haya kabambe. Asante sana.
This was the very first time we have come together as Kenya Prisons from all stations across the country. So we are going to support this initiative. It will not fade. It will continue much more. And we have implored and requested even the officers to nurture young talents, even amongst the children from our staff, so that they can join teams. They can also be able to do well in this field of ball games, and more particularly sports as a whole. This is an area that is key for us in terms of our physique, in terms of our mental health, and above all, we have talked about unity, collaboration, and teamwork.
And our intention actually was to identify talent to beef up our national teams, those who are competing in national. For a long time, the department have had good players both in track and field, and we thought of, we recently employed about 50 members of staff from various disciplines, and this was an opportunity to give them, to showcase their talent.
And across the borders, Democratic Republic of Congo has completed the list of 10 African teams for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Leopards qualified after beating Jamaica 1-0 in a playoff in Mexico, with Axel Twanzebe scoring in extra time. It marks their return after 52 years, last appearing in 1974. They joined Group K with Portugal, Colombia and Uzbekistan. Other African countries include Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa and Tunisia. The tournament kicks off on the 11th of June in Mexico City.
Yeah, I think I can say it's more than key to see people, or like I say, more than 3,000 people, you know, take a flight, most of them driving, coming for Paris, Europe, you know, and for anywhere, okay, to come there to support. I think it's a big key to show our team how we support them. I think it's very good.
To DR Congo, as the French say, félicitations, which means congratulations. Thank you very much for your valued company. My name is Stanley Nyaringita. Stick around right here for more detailed news just for you at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., including The Insight with Dibala in Air. Goodbye.